Hey guys, so today I wanted to discuss with you something that we all feel sometimes, no matter who we are or where we come from or what our deal in life is. We all get the blues. We just do. It's a human thing. It's a natural thing. It's a normal thing. And personally, myself, I am extremely creative, and although I don't like to call myself like psycho, I definitely do have, the creative kind of mindset of the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the super awesome good days, and then the days that you wake up and the whole world just sucks for no reason. You open your eyes, it just sucks. You go downstairs, try to have your coffee, it just sucks. But that's basically me. Most people definitely do have the ups and downs, and I've actually been to therapy and I have worked out a bunch of these kinks, and with some super helpful, easy tips. You guys can try to do the same thing at home. If anything that I'm saying is something that you might associate yourself with, then totally please listen to the rest of my video and maybe it can help you. Okay, so the first thing that I learned in therapy, which completely, oh my God, completely changed my life, was a skill called challenging your thoughts. And this basically means, when you have a negative thought and it comes into your brain and you can't help it because that's just what you're thinking. You can't stop yourself from thinking. But when you have a negative thought that just pops itself right in there, you can challenge it. And this might sound really simple, and it is. It's extremely powerful. Instead of just allowing that thought and telling yourself, oh, this must be true, if I'm thinking it, of course it's true, you challenge that thought and you say, hold on, this negativity, is that actually true? So for example, what I was saying before is you wake up some mornings and you're just trying to have your coffee and you look at it and you're like, this sucks. Challenging your thoughts would be looking at your coffee and say, does this suck? I mean, how is this any different from the coffee on any other day? And this kind of helps you just get into the space of acknowledging what you're feeling, meaning it's okay to feel on the lowdown, but it's not okay to blame things that are not actually the things. I mean, the coffee doesn't suck. It's the coffee's just the coffee. The second thing that works for me is finding things that make you happy. And although, again, this totally sounds super simple, isn't that what normal people are supposed to do? You're trying to make yourself happy? But when you do it in a more comprehensive way of sitting down, making a list of things that actually make you happy, then when you're having one of these negative days, you can pull out your list and say, okay, what makes me happy? What can I do that will make me happy today? And this segues right into tip number 3, which is taking the time to actually do the things that make you happy. So it's not going to help you if you wrote down your awesome list of things that make you happy and then you never actually take the time to go and do them. So what it basically boils down to is, number 1, challenge your thoughts. Number 2, find things that make you happy. And number 3 is take that happy list and take time in your day. Make sure you get those little slices of happiness. I am in no way a therapist or certified in any way. I am just talking to you guys, through and about my own experiences. However, I've teamed up with a therapist who will come and join us virtually now to talk about some of the things that I mentioned and some advice. Let's see if I can get in contact with him. I'd like to introduce to you guys Dr. Lipner, a clinical psychologist who practices in Brooklyn. Hi Usher, thank you so much for being here.
Hi Shira, it's great to be here.
So the first thing that I wanted to ask you was, what would you tell someone who doesn't have any psychological issues or like has been diagnosed with anything, but they just have some downer feelings or some anxious feelings or just some of those bad feelings in general that they would like to change about their lives.
So I actually have a lot of people in my practice who don't have a mental illness who come because of that there are things that they're feeling, whether they get angry a lot or whether they get down. Some of them are very nervous and anxious, and they just want help just with the feeling, learning how to manage it and feel happier. For the most part, the way I help them is teaching them skills and working on it with them to learn. There are a variety of skills that you can learn to help you manage your emotions, to regulate your emotions so that they don't become a problem. We all have feelings from time to time. Sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're happy, that's normal. The problem is that when it becomes either too intense, that it's annoying and difficult to deal with and hard to cope with, or if it goes on for too long and it affects your mood and it can affect your relationships, it can affect a lot of parts of your life.
Could you elaborate and tell me what these skills are?
So for example, some of the skills that you described, some of the things that you do to help yourself feel better are actually the kind of skills I teach people. Many people don't realize that the feelings they have start off as thoughts, and certain things that you're thinking lead to certain feelings. So learning to think differently and to challenge your thoughts and to be, first of all, aware of what you're thinking that's leading to these feelings. Let's say a person is being very self-critical and the thoughts are that I'm not doing a good job, that there's something wrong with the way I look or the way I act. Then, for example, learning to think more positively would make a person feel better. So first you have to be aware of the thoughts and then learn how to change them. That's one skill. Another skill would be to learn how to have experiences that make you feel good. Oftentimes people aren't taking care of themselves. The first thing I tell people and I ask them about is if they're taking care of themselves physically, they're eating right, sleeping well, exercising, because emotions like getting down, getting nervous, often are actually affected by your body.
So I'm just wondering, to work on all these skills, does someone need to be in therapy, or can they just do it at home by themselves, just read up on it and work on it themselves?
That's a really good question, Shira, because a lot of people think, they ask me, do I need to be in therapy? And the truth is, a lot of these skills, 100%, you can learn them on your own. You can read about them, you can understand them, they're not that difficult to understand. The reason that people choose to come to therapy, and the thing that I help them with, is learning to implement the skills in their life. And when you learn about it, these are general ideas, but each person's different, and each person needs to find ways and which one of these skills will apply in which situation. And for that, it helps to have someone objective who listens to you, hears what you're thinking about and what you're going through, and gives feedback.
Super interesting. I always thought that like going to therapy meant going through your whole childhood and just figuring out, what went wrong at the beginning. But what you're saying is that you can just go to therapy and work on these skills for your future.
So it depends. That is a little bit like the stereotypical feeling that people have about therapy. That, in the old days you would lie on the couch and talk about your whole history and all your memories in the childhood and how it affected you. Even in the approach that I was talking about learning skills, it is based on the theory that the reason you didn't learn these skills has to do with things that happened in your whole life. Why are some people better at different things? And it's also true that there are people who have gone through trauma that it's important to talk about. At the end of the day, though, in any kind of therapy, you're going to learn to think differently, to act differently, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to. So there are patients of mine that I don't talk about their past. I only focus on what they need to do right now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lipner, for being here and answering all my questions. And I just wanted to say that on a personal level, I really feel like this was extremely validating for me because I learned a lot of these things from my own therapist, but to hear another professional say it is just, it makes me feel like I'm on the right track. So thanks for that.
Sure, anytime. I think that it's great that you're learning these things and actually implementing them, and it sounds like you've gotten a lot out of therapy, and you should be proud of yourself that you're sharing it with other people too.
Thank you. And anyone that wants to get in contact with Dr. Lipner can definitely check out the link on my blog. I'm going to leave it there for you guys. Bye.